Hello, everybody. This is Brian with Response on Play. Welcome to our second episode. Everybody else, if you'd like to introduce yourselves real quick.
Steph with a slightly smiling face.
Jake with a smiling pancake face.
I'm James. I've got the potato smiley face.
Oh, you said it as if Andrew was coming next. That was sad.
Oh,
Oh, speaking of which,
that's
Andrew's
true.
not here.
speaking.
Great segue.
Great segue. Unfortunately, as you'll notice, we're not joined by Andrew today. It is actually his birthday on time of recording, so he's celebrating or doing whatever it is that he does. So he's going to sit this one out, but he should be back next week.
All right. And with that, let's talk about what we want to talk about. An article was released on, I believe it was the 27th, talking about everything we'll need to know about the World's Festival, given to us by our OP Play team. So we're going to read through the article, and then we're going to talk about it, and it will take however much time it takes.
Question: This article is coming from the current OP team, correct? Taking over from the last OP team, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. This is the most current version of that team. Any other questions before I read the article or start reading the article?
Question: how was your day today, Brian?
It's been pretty good so far. How has your day been?
Good. No further questions.
All right, with no more responses, let's get into this. Hello, Universus players. Levi and I, not me, are here to give you some exciting updates on 2024 Worlds. It has been a really intense yet fun time for us as we draw closer to the biggest and most prestigious event of the 2024 OP cycle. Obviously, the World Championship is one of the events we're most looking forward to, as it's the culmination of the season and the opportunity for some of you to challenge one another and see who will be crowned champion. We also understand that the announcement stating that the World Championship was going to be a closed event was not ideal for any of the players who don't meet the criteria to attend. We have heard you and understand where you're coming from, because we want to do our best to give you all an opportunity to gather as a community and feel as much of the World's experience together as possible. We will be introducing the World's Festival. We've been working very closely with Sean O'Brien at Rochester CCG to make this event a reality. As this conversation deserves the highest level of excitement, I'll hand the reins over to Levi to give you all the juicy details.
Shout outs to Sean O'Brien, love that guy.
And Levi, also good guy.
Also, shout out to Levi, love that guy.
All right, Brian, you got to do your best Levi voice now.
Oh God.
This is Levi.
Attention, Universus. Levi reporting in to give you all the details on the 2024 Worlds Festival, hosted by Rochester CCG. The 2024 Worlds Festival will be an expansion of Worlds in a myriad of ways and give you a few banger reasons to attend the 2024 World Championship, even if you won't be competing yourself. Let's start by discussing the main event. Recently, there's been a lot of confusion regarding what will happen should players from any region elect not to attend the World Championship. First things first, we're going to clear that up and simultaneously announce the most exciting part of the 2024 Worlds Festival, the Last Chance Qualifier. This standard format tournament will take place on Friday, February 14th, the day before the main Worlds tournament. Now, despite having the same name as last year's event, this LCQ will be working quite a bit differently. Last time, there were dedicated slots for the LCQ, but this year, the LCQ will contain all slots from players who qualified in any way and elected not to attend the event. There will be no pass downs of slots based on placement, points, leadership, or in any other way. Any declined Worlds invitation will be placed into this LCQ. At the conclusion of the NA Nationals event, all qualified players, regional winners, national top 8 finishers, and region-based plus worldwide points qualifying players will be contacted via their UGN email to confirm whether or not they will be attending the event. Qualified players will have until February 5th to confirm their attendance, at which point, if they have declined or simply not responded, their slot will be placed into this LCQ. This means the exact number of slots in this LCQ will be announced on February 6th. This event will be limited to 128 players. Sign up now to secure your spot. What do we think about this? What is our thoughts?
Sidebar, currently as of recording, there are 13 people signed up.
So 13 people are currently signed up.
I like this. I understand the logistical nightmare of trying to do pass downs and stuff like that and getting in touch with a bunch of people on such a short notice. Seeing as you have until the 5th to confirm whether or not you're going, and then they're announcing how many are up for grabs on the 6th. That's only, a week and something before...
9 days.
Yeah, so like a week and something before it goes live, which that's not a lot of turnaround time. So I definitely understand that. I do like this addition so far for Worlds. I like the idea of last chance qualifiers always to make sure that Worlds is full up. And I think this is a very, very good way to do it. I don't see any real negatives with this. I really just wish the time between NA Nats and Worlds was longer than, 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
It's 3 weeks. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm super excited about them opening it up in the last chance qualifier. I think that's really healthy for the meta. That was one thing that I noticed coming in, like when I first started playing about a year ago, and it's probably the same with every card game, but you're kind of just seeing the same names every time, kind of winning these events and going to Worlds, and it's because those people are really good. But I think it's really cool to give people a chance to compete in Worlds by saying, come to this last chance qualifier, prove your chops, and then you can come play against these pros instead of just, well, this is only like the big boys club and you didn't make it, so tough luck.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think it's always nice, anytime that we have a chance to see some new names in the community that might, not otherwise make it to a top cut, either because, they couldn't make their local regional or didn't make it Nats, whatever the reason is, but they maybe have a chance to make it here at the LCQ. I think that's always a really good thing to have. And I think it's very cool that they have decided to open up, as many slots as available in this LCQ rather than just, doing the pass downs, because I understand the people who maybe would have gotten in on pass downs may not be the most happy about this, but I think it's a little bit easier, like Jake was saying, logistically to be able to, fill up these slots.
I think it's more fair for people who have a limited travel budget as well, because something that's kind of been a challenge for a lot of people in this game is that like there's just not a whole lot of local support unless you're in like a big metropolitan area. Like I live in a fairly big city. It's almost like 1 million people here and in the suburbs. And there's really just us, in the scene, and even sometimes that's touch and go. And then the closest place for us is like 2 hours away. Besides that, if we want to do like local stuff, and it's kind of been like we really had to start it ourselves. So it's kind of hard when there's not a ton of local support and not a lot of, like, not everybody has the time or the funds to spend money on travel and like airfare and like hotels multiple times just to try to qualify for Worlds by like competing in these regionals, like it was in, I think it was like Pasadena, KC, I don't remember where the other ones were, but like they're pretty spread across the country. So if you don't have the money to travel there or you don't live near there, you're kind of screwed for being able to compete in Worlds. So if you really only care about Worlds and you think you have what it takes to like beat this last chance qualifier, you could save your money and just practice all year and just go to Florida or wherever it's going to be and try to get in then. So I like giving people options like that. And it seems like the new organized play team is recognizing that we need a little more support locally and to try to open these up for that.
That's fair. I will also note in the article itself, there is an asterisk on the no pass downs because until this moment, we were being told how pass downs would work. But they basically go on to state here in the article that removing pass downs is different from what we've been stating, but after looking into every possible way to make the pass down work, it was just not feasible within the 3-week time frame. So this is their way to accommodate that. Next year, we don't have a national, so they won't have to worry about this because Worlds is open invitation effectively. It's going to be our version of nationals now.
I love that. I'm so excited about that. I love the chance. I love these opportunities to give like the underdogs a chance, like again, the pros are there because they're really good. And I don't want anyone to think I'm saying that they're not, but like I love seeing like new people up in like top 16 where I'm just like, who the hell is that? Like I've never heard of this guy before. What's his deck? Oh my god, it's Bakugo. Like I love seeing that stuff.
A little bit of Bakugo bias, sounds like.
A little bit. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. We're Baku bros in here, okay?
Disagree. We're Deku dudes in this corner.
Trash.
So,
Trash.
I'm not saying I collect Deku cards, but I do happen to collect Deku cards. Just saying.
I'm more of an Ochako Ombre.
Okay, acceptable.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm with Garza here. I think Ochako's the winner in all this.
James, you're with who? Who are you with?
He's with
Brian.
Brian.
Gotcha. Just making sure. That's okay. We can have the three-way tie because James doesn't actually count.
True.
We'll have to have Andrew put it in post what his is and break the tie.
No, he actually doesn't get a vote because he's not here.
Wow.
Let's talk a little bit about what else will be going on at the Worlds Festival. Now, if a tournament with potentially several final golden tickets to Worlds wasn't enticing enough, don't worry. Sean O'Brien has you covered. In addition to the LCQ on Friday, Rochester CCG will be holding main events throughout the entire weekend. Saturday, you can join hands with your most trusted comrades and fight together in the Worlds Festival Teams event. Then finish the weekend off with a blast from the past in the Worlds Festival Retro event on Sunday. And of course, you can expect side events of every nature taking place all weekend, as well as a robust prize wall featuring a combination of special new items provided by UVS Games and Rochester CCG. Stay tuned to our socials to see more of those in the coming days. Signups for both Teams and Retros events are live now, so you can head over to UGN to check out all of the details for those.
At time of recording, Last Chance Qualifier is the only one with signups. The standard tournament has 0, and Retro has 0.
That makes sense. They don't know if they're going to be in the other event.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I didn't even think about that.
They might be on the main stage. Who wants to play second fiddle?
Is this where we're getting like the wrestling belt for
No,
winning?
that's
That was
Nats.
that.
No, that was nationals. Yeah.
So we don't know prizing for Worlds yet, do we?
Yeah, we know nothing about prizing for any bit of Worlds or this newly announced Worlds Festival.
I'm excited. I love that they're calling it a festival because I'm a big festival fan, and I love going to big events and having other little events to do while I'm there.
Yeah, I think the label of festival is a really good turnaround because it's you're still keeping regular Worlds kind of separate, which was their initial intention, but still giving it like a way for everybody to celebrate the game and stuff that we all play, and like a way for us to all compete in our own way and enjoy the game. I know originally they said Worlds was going to be closed to everybody except, I believe, the players and press. Wink, wink. If anyone at UVS wants to count us in as press, let me know. We'll do some coverage. Because currently, I think right now my plans are I'm trying to open up plans to be there. With the announcement of all this stuff going on.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It'd definitely be something that'd be a lot of fun to partake in. I like what you said there, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. It's like a celebration when you call it a festival. You know, it's like, yeah, we have this really cool top tier event, but also it's a celebration of the game and all the other people that have put in the time and money to be able to be at these other events and make the game what it is. So I think it's really important that we keep a hold of that and keep celebrating the good things that come with this game.
Yeah, to me, all of this just reads like accessibility for everyone playing this game, like accessibility into the competitive format, which is so important there's kids playing this game, so it's like if these kids want to go to this big event and or even people like, I don't know, like me, where it's like, I don't necessarily want to play against the sweats, it's like you can go to this event and you can have this competitive format be accessible to you where you're maybe not playing in Worlds, but you're playing in like a competitive format at Worlds where there's all this other excitement going on kind of off in the corner and you're doing like whatever competitive thing you enjoy doing. So I love the accessibility. I love that they're opening it to everyone next year, and I love that they're kind of putting a little bit of that into this year.
So my query thought that I kind of want to get everybody else's thought on is we are calling this the Worlds Festival. Now that could be partially because we're trying to separate it from Worlds specifically. Basically the World Championship Tournament, but with everything else basically saying, hey, we want 2025 to be a celebration of our game, and we want those big events to be those. I wonder if our regionals will end up being called regional festivals or similar things.
That's an interesting thought. I like the idea of them being festivals because like one of the main things that I look forward to usually when I go to stuff like this is I like playing, I like meeting new people, which I don't feel like happened too much in Las Vegas, but I felt like I talked to quite a few people in Atlanta. Even funnier, talking to somebody who had visited my hometown prior, and then we both met up in Atlanta. So that was pretty funny, talking about local spots that he enjoyed in my hometown. It was an interesting conversation to have when you're both visiting somewhere else. So I think meeting people, having a good time. Side events, I'm really interested to see if we're gonna get draft. We know that teams in retro are going to be main events for this festival, but I think I've glossed over most of Brian's point. But I think I think festival, like dubbing the regional festivals, would probably be also like a good idea, or at least a fun way, because most people I think that go, probably want to try to top and win those events. Why wouldn't you? But I think a lot of people also go to hang out and just have a good time. And I know that we're planning on going to some now that we're making content to try to cover as many as possible. I think dubbing them festivals would be cool. I don't know if that's their plan or not, but
Yeah, I think I mean, kind of going back to a point that Steph made last week is there's a lot of people at these events, and most top cuts are 16, maybe 8, depending on how many people attend, and there's only one winner. So there's a lot of people that just don't have a lot of things to do the next day other than like these side events and stuff like that. So having a bit more of a a festival aspect where there's a lot a few more things to do besides just the main event is a pretty cool idea. So I'd be really happy if they continued that going forward.
Yeah, winning is great. Wouldn't know. Seems great. but I think like there's a lot more like to be taken away from these. Like there's a lot more than you could take home and that you can experience in these events than just winning, which again seems cool. Would like to do it one day. But like there's meeting people, there's doing these side events. Like I mean when you think of like going to a convention, it's like you go there and you look at like the art that people have and you talk to people and you look at the cool cosplays and you like check out all these booths. Like I like the vibe of like conventions, and I would love if they could bring some of that like hanging out, party, fun, festival vibe from like conventions into these events.
With that, I'm going to wrap up the article. We can give our last thoughts of it, and then we can see what else we want to talk about. Josh and I, Levi, not me, have heard your voices and understand your desire to gather the global Universus community together so we can all enjoy this game we've loved for so long. The 2024 Worlds Festival is our response to that passion. Worlds has historically been the greatest way to experience that joined passion, and as we come in and take the reins on organized play, we'll do whatever it takes to maintain that wholeheartedly. More news regarding side events and new prize wall items will be revealed as we get closer to the event, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled to our news outlets and social channels, as well as Rochester CCGs to stay up to date. Until then, can't wait to see you all at the World's 2024 Festival.
held in the year 2025.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is in 2025 and it's just celebrating
The previous year.
2024. Yeah.
Mhm.
Huh. I wonder if they're ever gonna hold this anywhere but the U.S. since it's called World Festival. I think that would probably cut into attendance numbers a little bit, but
I don't even know if it really would. So like that's actually a really interesting point, because I know Pokemon they do events a lot of different places, and Worlds is usually in a different spot most years, which is really cool. I would love for them to do like Worlds in different locations and make it more accessible, because I mean we usually do have the U.S. turnout. I'm sure them being U.S. based has a lot to do with it, just because I'm sure it's a lot of travel to get their whole staff out. They'd have to fly Sean out or work with a UK based Sean, I guess, or he'd have to like adopt an accent. So I'm not sure the logistics. I'm definitely not a logistics guy. I'm a dreamer at heart, but it would be really cool if we had like a UK one next year, or if we did one in Oceania. That would be really awesome. I would probably really try to hit up one of those, because I'm a huge travel fan. So getting to play the game I love like somewhere else is always cool.
yeah, I think them giving out like pretty generous travel vouchers for winning Nats and possibly regionals. I'm not sure if they're doing that, but like I think that makes it more feasible too. Is like actually getting people out.
Especially for the people that are definitely attending the main event, getting those travel vouchers would possibly help allow them to put it in a location other than the U.S. But I don't know. I mean, you think there's a lot of like kind of Jake was saying, there's a lot of logistics when it comes to not only getting everybody out there, but then also holding the events and finding a place where it's going to be and all that. There's a lot that goes into putting it in another country.
For sure, for sure. I was gonna say I don't know for sure if they were giving out vouchers for regionals. I don't believe they were this year, but I'm trying to see if I have a real answer in the old organized play article.
Yeah, it would make sense that they did not because there's Nats this year. But once they do away with Nats, like I think it would make sense for them to shift that pricing down to regional stuff, which it sounds like was their plan, is put more emphasis into regional like play stuff.
That's kind of the thing, is like the shift into more regionals, as long as I wonder how spread they're gonna actually be at different locations. There's a lot really to think about when it comes up in the upcoming year with like stuff they can do. I don't know. I don't have any of the logistics information. I don't know if the game is growing at some amount of rate. I don't know what sales volume is or any of that stuff. Which I would actually be really interested to like see some of those numbers or be privy to that and kind of see where they're going, like what lines they're following. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like maybe we could just get some like fiscal like Q4 details maybe. So just for us.
Yeah, just get the last 5 years of tax returns.
Yeah.
And,
Get your social security numbers.
I mean, I think we get a little bit of that when we look at our Nats attendance numbers. I mean, the 2 years ago it was 300, last year it was 400. So it appears that the game may be growing, or at least is growing at enough that we get more people coming to Nats each year, which I think is really cool. Even with the invitation system that we have, I would like to see even more people attend this year's Nats, and we can say, yeah, our game is definitely growing, and that's why we get to do these better celebrations, these festivals that we want to call them. So I think that'd be really cool to see, and I'm hoping again, I hope we do see an increase this year at Nats attendance.
I think that when it comes to attendance numbers, I know that Atlanta was over 200, and Vegas we only had 100 and something. And I know I probably sound like a broken record comparing them, but there were the two that I was actively at of the three. But I don't know what our regionals looked like prior.
Yeah, and you do have to think real quick, just especially when you talk about Vegas, that was the first event that had the invitation gating. So there were a lot of people that didn't go to Vegas because they didn't have locals and couldn't get their points. So there was a bit of a skew when we look at the Vegas numbers. But
well, it wasn't just that; it was the price of Level Up Expo too. It was significantly more expensive than regionals. It was like 80, which I really liked it, but I know that's a concern for people, right? Because they don't want to pay $80 for a convention they might not even be going to.
Right. Yeah. And so there's a few things that kind of skew the attendance numbers at Vegas. So we'd want to look a little bit more at St. Louis and then Atlanta and see what the difference is there.
Do we have those numbers? Or can we? Wait, somebody can grab those numbers for me real quick. Can we talk about those numbers?
I bet we could. Let me see if I can find it.
Probably could. I was going to say that I can say almost for sure that last year, the regionals we went to, I do not believe they broke. I don't think it even broke 200.
No, definitely not. KC was what, 130?
I think it was
150 maybe.
I don't even think it was that many because I don't believe we played 8 rounds.
Yeah, and I know that Pasadena was pretty small as well. There was 100 and something people there. So regionals are definitely bigger.
I think
this year
Gen
than
Con
they were
was the
last.
biggest one, and I think it had like 150 something last year. But that was also, it had a bunch of people that kind of just found out that there was a tournament. They were already here at Gen Con. They could just pay the tournament price and go walk over and get stuff, and then drop or whatever once things went bad for them, if it went bad for them. I know I had at least one friend join during that where I built him a deck because he was interested. He was like, yeah, I think this game's cool. I don't play it enough. I'm like, but I'm going to be at Gen Con with you. So I'll enter and at least hang out for part of it. And see how I do.
Pulling up the numbers here, it looks like at the St. Louis Regional there were 165 signed up for the main event, and in Atlanta we're tracking 185. So about 20 more people between the two events, but definitely an increase. So we're trending forward.
Yeah, Vegas only had 107. That's less than I thought.
That sounds correct to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good indication if our events are still going up and not down. They have introduced popular IPs, albeit ones I don't care much for. Looking at you, Attack on Titan. But I mean that's really neat. We were playing at locals the other day and had people stop and ask us questions, and which is always nice. We love to engage with people, and so we kind of explained the game to them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Attack on Titan, nice."
Yeah, I will eat humble pie, and I will say I did not believe that Attack on Titan was even relevant anymore when they announced that they got that IP. I was like, who cares about Attack on Titan? But apparently a lot of people care about Attack on Titan still, because I feel like there's a lot more players now, and I've seen a lot more people, just people in my family and among my friends who are like, is that Attack on Titan? And then they're just like, those cards look really good.
I mean, the art does look really good.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to say the art is not my problem with the sets. I think the art is actually one of the reasons why I've kind of moved past my dislike of Attack on Titan. As Andrew very much likes to tell me all the time, I was one of the people that said I would not be playing an Attack on Titan character. I was just going to stick to the old faithful and play like Hawks or something. And I'm playing Aaron out here, you know? So
We're out here.
We're gaming.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we've moved away from My Hero, because My Hero is fine, as a show or whatever. But I was so bored of it. I was so bored of the My Hero sets. I wanted something new. Now we get Attack on Titan, and now we're getting Crit Roll, and we're getting all these random challenger decks. The Tekken decks were so fun. We're getting Guilty Gear Strive. The ADHD brain is so happy that I have all these options. Oh yeah, those guys, or whatever, I guess.
They're
The
specifically
TMNT hater here? Is that what I'm hearing?
They're specifically
she
turtles.
hates MHA.
I'm trying to rile up James.
Listen to me, and listen to me very closely, Steph. You're not going to take Ninja Turtles from me. No one can take Ninja Turtles from me. Nobody!
I was going to say, you're not going to just rile up James. You're going to rile up everybody else in this call.
Are you guys all TMNT fans?
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
At
Okay.
least the four of us are going to be playing a different turtle, and we're wearing headbands.
Wait. You were watching TMNT in Vegas, weren't you?
Yeah, we
That
watched
is
the
what
movie
happened.
in
Oh
Vegas.
my, I
Yep.
should have known. Oh, you're a TMNT fan? Name every Ninja Turtle.
Which one of us has to prove our fandom?
James. I don't believe he's ever watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, fair enough. James, you have the floor.
Oh boy, it's been a long time.
Oh, here
we
we
got
go. The excuses.
Michelangelo, we got Raphael, we got Donatello, and Leonardo. Gonna be number 4 we got there.
There's no random turtles that just show up for an episode.
Well, it depends. Are we talking the Ninja Turtles that crossed over with Power Rangers way back when? What was that? The Saban one.
Yeah. Oh crap. I don't remember what it was called though.
Next Mutation is what it was called, and they had Venus, which was the female turtle.
Because we need female turtles.
Let's
Can we get a
talk.
picture of Venus, please, in
Can-
post? I need to see Venus on the screen.
It's from Saban era. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but my Discord profile is Ferbus, so I'm kind of like the resident Saban homie.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I did not notice that was Ferbus. I didn't even know what that was.
Do you know what Ferbus is?
No.
I didn't even know that was Ferbus. Cool dude. Who's Ferbus?
I'm ready for Ferbus to be the secret character because they'll do a couple of Saban things
Oh my god.
inside of TMNT, and then they'll just use the mascot as our.
They would just use the rat guy, right? The rat teacher.
You what?
Their
Splinter?
dad?
Master
The-
Splinter?
the-
He's got
the
a
rock
name.
guy.
No, who's Shredder then?
What the hell? The bad guy.
He's the bad guy.
villain.
Oh,
That's the leader of the Foot
Is he
Clan.
also a rat?
He's not.
Shredder?
He's just some dude.
He's just a dude.
He's a man in shiny armor.
I do want to point out, Andrew might have a lot to cut out from this episode.
Thank you, Andrew. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Obama.
Who all is planning on trying to attend the World's Festival as of this recording?
And we're looking at you, Frank, in the audience.
Well, I meant the 3 people I get to actually hear from right now, but sure.
But
sound
Frank,
off
he
in the
is looking.
comments.
He is looking at his phone, waiting for that text.
I think we're kind of all in the same boat where it'd be really nice, but we're gonna have to see how the Nats trip plans out, and with it being 3 weeks away, how much our schedules can accommodate that.
Oh
Well,
my god, it is 3 weeks.
If I
Jeez.
ask my boss will say, "Yeah, sure, probably." They usually don't care, and I've said this about 1 billion times probably, but I work at a card store, so usually anything card related, my boss is just like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, I mean, it's on February 14th, so let's be real. We don't have anything better to do on Valentine's Day and go play cards.
Sure.
Obviously.
No chime in from James. Sus. I think I am right now tentatively planning on being there. I'm really excited for Worlds. I think them opening up, I kind of want to show extra support. I think as many times as they've quote unquote listened to us, I feel like they have listened to a lot of what the community wanted. There was a lot of backlash when they announced the Worlds was going to be closed and only available to players that were in the event and press, which again, wink wink, we can be press. I really want to give them their big ups. I really think that when they do stuff like this that is really, for the players, I think we really should try to support them whenever, however we can. Whether it be, talking a little bit more positively or giving them that pat on the back. I think they've earned it. I think this is a great change.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a really good change. I'm loving the festival. Like I said it a couple times. I'll say it again. I enjoy celebrating our players. I think obviously they're what makes the game work. It wouldn't be here if we didn't have people playing it. So I think it's very important that they continue to, celebrate everything that we can help make happen. So I like this one again. I think it's a really good change.
Yeah, my final thought is that I'll just go back to what I said, where accessibility of competitive format is so important for the health of the game, to make sure it's not stale, to make sure you keep seeing new places up in those tops, to give people a chance to get up in those tops, and also to give people a chance to compete against pros, because we're really only competing against each other in our locals, which is really small. But when we go to these big events, we're competing against people we never would have competed against otherwise. I played against a guy who had a champion card made of him. I played on stream, I never would have gotten an opportunity to play against these people who were really, really good without these open tournaments for us.
Yeah, I mean, not to steal Brian's thunder, but I got to play against Nick Reagan in Vegas, which was awesome. I learned a lot just from the way that we passed our interactions, and he made me a couple of times during that game go, "Oh, I can do that. I didn't think about it that way," which is really nice. When you get to play people that are obviously very skilled, Nick Reagan being the example here, also very nice guy. Literal current champ, super nice guy. You get to learn a lot as a player anyway, so it's really just beneficial all the way around.
Yeah, definitely. As a contrarian, I was going to say I've met a lot of our player base, and I don't know if we should be celebrating these people. No, I'm teasing. There's a lot to be said about supporting groups when they make the decision you wanted them to make. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to go, but just because of how close it is to Nats. But if I can swing it, I'm going to try and be there for sure.
For sure.
Hopefully, at least somebody from our crew will be there. We're wanting to start covering a lot of these events. I know we're all going to be at Nats, and cameras on. Hopefully, we've got a whole line of content we're working on. We actually got new content coming out. Kind of segue to the next portion here. We got a thing called Brian's Builds that we're working on currently. It's a series where Brian,
that's me,
builds decks and we take them to locals and then kind of give our thoughts on them, usually utilizing underused heroes or things or people that aren't commonly seen, and kind of see what kind of skill or value we can squeeze out of them. And who knows, we might come up with some possible bangers along the way.
True. That's true.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it taking his builds to locals so much as inflicting them upon locals, but yeah.
Yeah, if I get flipping 4. What is the name of that card?
Decay
Decay
Awaken,
Awaken.
Oh
baby.
my god, I hate that card. Not only did it get played against me in Atlanta when I was playing Aaron and needed foundations to flip, and then I go to locals and I just casually 4 of them get played against me again. I'm just like PTSD flashbacks. A little bit of spoilers there for you. But like some fun stuff like that. We've got other content in the way of like vlogs and stuff like that coming. We're hoping this to kind of be like a great hub for Universus in all styles. Hopefully, if you can't be at events, you'll get a good sense of the events through our eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you should totally try to come to the events though, because they're really fun and everybody has
They
a
are.
lot of fun. And also, if you come and we're there, we'll play Smash together.
Okay, we're not doing this again.
If you come and we're there, feel free to say hi to us.
Yeah. Yeah,
Obviously,
cut mine and put that one in.
because we would love to talk to anybody about this game all the time. That's why we're doing the podcast, because we want to talk about this game all the time.
Speaking about talking about the game here, there's one thing that I want to talk about. I've been putting it in a lot of my decks recently, testing them out, and it's been a very good card. Jake has some thoughts on it. I'd like to talk about the card Lethal Slash. Lethal Slash is a 4 difficulty 2-check attack, 3 high for 4. With the Blitz, draw a card, and the response, if it's a second or greater card played this turn, you can remove it after it resolves.
Yeah,
Jake, what do you think about that?
yeah. Card needs to go. I hate this card. Hate this card. Literally every time I play against this card, James finds a way to play 4 of them on me in one turn. Oh, what is this? Go for the win? Go for the win? On a 6? Oh, I guess I'll build these down. Draw a card. Dumb. And then he gets to, because it's the second card played, or greater, not attack. He gets to do something usually dumb, like go for the win, or play something that clears, and then just start stringing with this attack. And in like Reiner or most characters that just give damage nowadays, or stats of some kind, it usually ends up being a minimum 8 damage move that just gets removed and replaces itself with a card in its hand. And there's almost always, for some reason, 3 or 4 of them that get played against me in one turn. Why? What is up with them making all these cards that I don't have to play, that they don't have to play on progressive? Why is this a thing? What, do they just not want progressive to be a mechanic? What? They make Attack Titans Haymaker at least somewhat balanced. Yes, it clears and becomes a foundation, and it's got stun too. But it still counts for progressive for the entire turn. And its stats are fine. It's a 4 mid for 5. You're telling me for 1 less damage and 1 less speed that you get to draw a card and it removes? Okay. Fair and balanced.
I feel like this is one of those mental cards too, because it says you play it after, if it's the second card, so you don't have to play an attack. Like, you go to their turn and you see them slap down a foundation and you're like, oh, thank God, they're just building. And then he puts down the Lethal Slash and it's like, oh my God, here we go. Like, that happens so many times in games against James. You'll notice a lot of these really annoying cards James plays, by the way. Really weird. Very interesting.
I just play the good ones. If they're not going to ban them, I'm going to play them. That's as simple as it is.
I respect that.
I just don't think being a 2-check is enough to make this card like okay. Like, oh no, it's a 2-check. Yeah, so if you play 3 or 4 of them, 2-checks don't stop cards from being good or played. Yeah, you might check it and have a bad build turn, but you're playing on usually fire or something that's gonna push out a bunch of these, like, okay, you're gonna mess up 1 build turn and then play defensive for a turn while you rebuild, and then if your opponent can't kill you on that 3rd turn, you're gonna play 3 or 4 of these anyway.
Yeah. Shout out to Grishas, the new backup. Love pulling more of those from my discard pile.
Oh, I love seeing it. As much as you love pulling it. Sure do. Games into James with these kinds of cards are like, you're just sitting there watching him play his turn. It's like this. Combined firepower. Like any other card that James is centering his deck around. It's just, he gets to play 6 million. He also, he picked up Mikasa, by the way. When remember Mikasa? Before she got, like, nerfed into the ground? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he played her. He brought her to locals. It was really fun.
Yeah, I can at least count to play the sweatiest tryhard at all of my locals every single time. Nobody tryhards like James, which
true.
is a good thing. It's great to get practice in for events like we have serious competition at locals for people like always trying to win. It's just like you find these cards and like it's like rouletting with Bertolt wasn't enough. They also have to play cards that let everybody pseudo play Bertolt. Let's just draw a card for free. Let's just remove this card so you don't have to play on progressive for free. That's it. No notes.
Look, I'm just here to give you guys the tournament experience. We got to know what we're going to be playing against. I'll be the bad guy. I'll play all the crazy decks.
Well, and I'm thankful for that. I really am. I don't understand how these cards keep like ending up under the radar. Like Risky was so bad it had to get banned, but I didn't. Anytime it got played on me or anytime it got played, I didn't feel that bad. Like, okay, you blew up some foundations to play an okay attack. All right. You can also just remove it from the drop or whatever. Just like that's the same thing people tell me that why combined firepower is fair. You can play something that removes it from the drop. Okay, so why'd Risky have to go? This card gets you value when you play it, and then you can just keep playing stuff without having to worry about progressive. At worst, it removes and they put one card in your card pool where this card should be. Instead of having two cards in your card pool, you still now just have the default one. That's why. Stop doing this. Like,
Yeah.
there should be another, there should be like a commit a foundation or something. You should have to give up something on some of these cards. As much as it sounds like I'm just whining, because I am very much just whining. I see design like this, and I get worried about like stuff in the future. I've already been talking about how I feel like a lot of these Attack on Titan characters, they really just do everything. Like anytime somebody says something and they put their character on, I just go, "Oh, you just get to draw cards and give stats, and you don't care about anything else in the game. You just get to free do stuff." And they feel really strong. It makes me kind of worried about the next sets coming up. Like, are they going to be worse than Attack on Titan? Is every character going to be able to do every ability? Because that, like, what else can we do? Because I don't think we need to keep adding more and more keywords. Like, we just got Outwit, and you can expand on Outwit, but we got Deflect, and outside of a handful of cases, a lot of people don't even use Deflect.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I think the
That's fair.
thing that we really need to watch going forward is just like you're talking about with these specific cards that clear progressive or don't count towards progressive. That's what the game's built around. So not counting towards progressive or clearing from your card pool, things like that, is what I feel probably the strongest thing that you can do in this game. So I think we just need to kind of keep an eye on how that's being implemented and what cards we're implementing that ability on, and make sure it doesn't get out of control.
May I say something real quick? My compatriots here were complaining about James's Reiner list that has Lethal Slash in it. He and I just played not too long ago. He did not win. I do think there's still plenty of counterplay around it. It can get a lot of stats, and it needs to be answerable. I think, in my case, I was playing a very defensive deck. So he went really deep and wasn't able to get there. And I was able to backswing him, which was the plan of my deck. But I do agree that James plays degenerate stuff.
It's true. It's true. Thank you, Voice of Reason, Brian. My main point is, like I said, I don't really think this card's like broken. I really think it needs to be watched. I think this design space is problematic, especially when it has attuned fire. So now any character that has the fire symbol on their card, as we're going back to 3 symbol characters, is potentially problematic. Just getting to put this 4 difficulty attack. If this were like a 5 difficulty attack, or had like a +2 block mod, or I don't know, maybe 2 speed, like just tone it down a little bit more, and it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But fire, there's already a lot of drawing cards in a lot of the decks that either have fire somewhere on their card. So getting to replace and just play all of your stuff is where you almost get into like problematic areas with cards like this. And I know a lot of, like I said, a lot of talk about Attack Titan's Haymaker right now, comparing it to like Back Alley, but I feel like that card's pretty fair. It's pretty standard. It's pretty standard. It plays the game like normal, and like James is right. The game is built on progressive difficulty and kind of figuring out like what your lines are. And they keep printing cards like this where you just don't care. Like you don't care how many cards are in your card pool because there's not any. You're playing every single attack and it's getting removed, or you're playing the new Bertolt where you remove every attack after you play it, so nobody cares. You can just play whatever you want. And I think that's a very slippery slope.
That's fair. I do think that's something they'll have to focus on in designing new cards, just to make sure that doesn't become overly common, I suppose would be the way to say it. But also at the same time, there might be an idea that they are wanting something like that to become more common. We're about to lose a bunch of the characters and stuff that don't do those kinds of things. So it's possible that they want that to be a design direction for them. But we won't know that until we see 2 or 3 more sets, probably.
For sure.
I don't completely disagree with you, Brian. I just, they say they want to slow the game down, and on turn 3, I'm just having like 6 of these thrown at me, and I go, okay, cool. I've blocked 4 attacks. I have 4 cards in my card pool, and they just keep slamming attacks at me because they just keep replacing themselves, and they just keep drawing into stuff or answers things, and it's one of those things where it feels not good when it happens. I just go, okay, neat. It's basically my combined firepower, but on the attack spectrum. Where when I play a bunch of attacks and they all get blocked for free with no repercussion, why am I having to play fair if they're getting to play stuff that is just doing that? And that's why, like, when they print stuff like this, but they're so concerned about things with like risky encounter being at least negging you to play it from your drop and having real consequences if you don't close the game. This card has no consequence. This card has 0 consequence for playing it. At minimum,
it's got the 2-check, right?
Okay, then not a real consequence.
No.
Just don't check it, and you never have to worry about it.
Yeah, just beat James.
Yeah.
Let's not be James. That's not an enviable position.
But like, I mean, it doesn't. If you play it before your opponent even gets to do anything, unless they have a response counter this skill, which most of them remove, if I'm not mistaken, anyway, or at least discard it or whatever, so they don't get to play it. Before you even get the enhanced interactions, they get to draw a card. It at least replaces itself for free.
That's fair. That makes sense. Do we have any other rants we would like to go on today?
No, I'm sorry. I feel like I bring it down when I talk about cards like that, because I actually I don't hate that card. I think it's an interesting card. It feels unfair almost every time I see it, and I just go, okay.
Yeah, no, I get that. I understand that. I can see, like, I mean, I don't think that you're wrong. Like I said, I think the clearing progressive is extremely strong, and obviously drawing a card is very strong. So having it on the same card is very strong, and maybe does need to be, I don't know, maybe not banned, but I don't know. We're, as a design thing, they won't touch the actual numbers on the card, so we'll have to see what they might do to help fix it in the future.
Make it a deadlock blitz or something.
Yeah, I think a deadlock response would have been really good on that. If that's, you get to keep clearing to play because your opponent's in deadlock, that card is very valuable that way, because you might want to have it so you can string against your opponent that has 312 foundations.
All right, and moving on to our final thoughts here for the episode. Anything anyone's got to say?
I just want to say I'm excited to hear more about the World's Festival and to provide more content to this channel and see whoever wants to say hi to us at Nats.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually for World's Festival also. I can't, if I could sum it up in 2 words, I would say prize wall.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. I love a good prize wall. I think it'll be awesome. Also, anybody feel free to comment wherever you're commenting on wherever this is posted. What you like about the World's Festival announcements and changes you would or wouldn't make to a certain card we talked about. Steph, what about you?
Yeah, I have two final thoughts. My first one is I appreciate everybody who listened to us. It was really cool seeing people actually cared about us ranting. So that was really nice. And then my second final thought was I'm going to plant a controversial thought. What if we put OLED Switch on the prize wall? Or OLED Steam Deck?
This is not Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't need...
This
I'm
isn't
just saying.
set one. This is set one. We don't.
I'm just saying. But yeah, looking forward to prize wall. That's Worlds. I love prize wall. I love opening the tournament to everybody. I think it's all great. I love all these changes happening in organized play, so they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree. After speaking with Levi at Atlanta a little bit, and then meeting Josh in Vegas was really cool too. He was super helpful. We had some entry issues that he was able to sort out for us really quick. I think they're both really great people, obviously, and I'm really excited to see where they take the OP going forward. I'm also very excited to see what kind of prizing Worlds is going to look like. I thought the cards and mats and the things that the actual Worlds competitors got were very interesting and very good looking. So I want to see what they come up with this year.
All right. And with that is episode 2 now. I was Brian. No responses.
This was Steph, Garden Variety Gamer.
This is Jake, Dankest Deku Dude in the chat.
And I'm James. I'm just the other guy.